One of the runners comes up, pounds on my door and says there's a formation out on the road. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? It's 4 o'clock. I'm getting ready to go to chow. So he tells me the first sergeant wants the company to form up in the road because the MPs are going to come and arrest Twix and make him do the perp walk. And I told the runner, tell the first sergeant he can fuck off. Pop doesn't do witch hunts, so I will not be attending his bullshit formation. Hello everybody, Terrence Pop with another episode live from the Lair. You gotta bear with me, gentlemen, I'm sick. I've been laid up for the past 3 or 4 days with the respiratory infection, so it's been rough. We spoke last time. I just got into one of the rehabilitation stories of Chupacabra. There's a couple other ones in here that I did. This particular one took place during our mobilization in the beginning and in Iraq. The soldier's name, I'm not going to say it, but I'm just going to say his call sign was Twix. He had Tourette's syndrome. So he'd always do those little, squeaks and ticks and stuff. And I remember asking him, I'm like, why don't you take some medication for that? And he's like, I don't like how it makes me feel. I can control it on my own. And I'm like, okay. I respect that. Now this particular soldier was a black soldier. When he came to us, he was a little older, and typically older guys, they ask the question why, and he liked to ask the question why, and he was in first platoon, and they got rid of him, went to second platoon, and that platoon sergeant was, in my opinion, it's a piece of shit. I didn't want him either, so wanted him coming to third platoon, and he worked out pretty good. Now, the first sergeant, Charlie Brown, didn't like him at all, and some of the other people, the higher ups, couldn't stand him either. I really didn't see it, other than the fact that he liked to ask why, and that didn't really bother me that much, because I was never one of those guys who just said, "Hey, just fucking do it. I'm in charge." Blah blah blah. I mean, there's a time and place for that, but it's not all the time. I mean That's a really, that leadership style gets old real quick, okay? Usually, I'd pull on all my leaders, get input, and whoever had the best idea would go with that. Rank didn't matter, none of that bullshit. So, he went to infantry reclass, so he was 11 Bravo. He was waiting for an airborne slot, and when we got the, we got the nod that we're getting mobilized. And the way it works is, once you find out you're getting mobilized, the personnel you have is the personnel you have. That's it. Very few people washed out. That was early on. I mean, this is in 2003. So the Army had not mobilized troops since, I think they did a couple units there in Vietnam, but, World War II for the most part, and part of Korea. World War II had a huge amount of National Guard units sent forward, and a lot of those Guard units went into the meat grinder. But that's a different story. I'm not here to teach you history. So anyway, they fucked with, at the mob site, Twix got fucked with mercilessly. And, towards the end, I got relieved because I wouldn't falsify RTEPs, so I was just basically hanging out. I mean, I'm still going to move forward with the company, so I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with that, but that was the Charlie Brown and Worthless and the other individuals that were running 425 like to run like a knitting circle, which is a bunch of bullshit. So anyway, they're doing shit to Twix, like make him a low crawl to chow. He was always doing 3 to 5 second rushes, push-ups, sit-ups. I mean, they're just making him do stupid-ass bullshit. And we were all living in one building, so it was getting, kind of crowded, and, people were getting short. So a lot of attitude went on. And they moved the headquarters section to another building across the parking lot, which was a little better. I got my own room because I was at E8, so I just got to sit in there and chill. So, this went on for a while, and I remember I had told Charlie Brown, I'm like, look, man, you got to lay off the Twix, because this is going to blow up in your fucking face. This is bullshit. Did he listen to me? Fuck no, he's an idiot. So what does he do? 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And we usually, we have a formation at 09. We may have one after lunch, and then we'll usually have one like at 1900-ish, in the evening. So during the day, so in the mob site at Fort Bliss, we had 2 formations, one in the morning and one at 1900. Other ones were on call during the day, which didn't happen that often. One of the runners comes out, pounds on my door, and says there's a formation out on the road. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? It's 4 o'clock. We're getting ready to go to chow. So he tells me the first sergeant wants the company to form up in the road because the MPs are going to come and arrest Twix and make him do the perp walk. And I told the runner, tell the first sergeant he can fuck off. Pop doesn't do witch hunts, so I will not be attending his bullshit formation. So that didn't really go down that well. Of course, they came and arrested Twix, walked him out, put him in the cop car, rolled him out to the fucking po-po pen. And, I didn't know what was going on, so I asked a couple questions. This whole thing revolved around Twix and Chupacabra were having an altercation in the laundry room because somebody had thrown somebody's laundry on the floor and their laundry in the dryer. That happens. Guys are dicks. Is that something that you arrest a soldier over? No. That's the kind of shit that you tell 2 guys to go work it out behind the woodshed or pull out the boxing gloves, and then that's it, Because that was happening a lot because we had 159 people living in one H barracks for about 4 weeks before we got moved across the parking lot. So I'm like, holy fuck, I don't know what's going on. So that evening, after, I think it was like 2000, Chupacabra comes to see me because I used to be his platoon sergeant. I was now the relieved ops sergeant. And he's really upset because, he didn't think it was, warranted that, Twix get cuffed and stuffed. And I'm like, well, okay, and he tells me what happened, and I agree with him. And then he tells me that Charlie Brown wants him to write this really fucked up statement, and, of shit that really didn't fucking happen. And I'm like, wow, okay, well, he's already arrested, number 1. Number 2, he wants you to write a statement. But 3, don't compromise your integrity, and you write exactly what fucking happened. So, he writes the statement, and by the time this all comes about and they go up with the statement, it's like 2 or 3 days later. And the captain who was running the cop shop threw a titty twister shit fit on my commander, Worthless, telling him that he's basically, how fucking dare you involve me in your internal fucking politics? This is fucking horse shit. You told me I was arresting a soldier on this fucking thing, and then I get a statement that doesn't warrant any crime whatsoever other than, administrative action. So what does Commander Worthless and Charlie Brown do? They double down on stupid, and they take Twix to the funny farm. And he was there for, I think, 8 days. At the end of the 8 days, the funny farm people are like, there's nothing wrong with this guy. I don't even know why he's here. So they have no choice but to bring him back to the unit. So this has been it's about 10, 11 days. Maybe 12, I don't remember. But, he comes back, and then they continue to fuck with him. They're having him mop the floors until like midnight, 1 in the morning, and then getting him up for PT at 05:30. I mean, it's just such bullshit. I mean, it's beyond stupid. So, the night Twix comes back, he's mopping the fucking floor. I go out to get a Coke. I walk back into my room and I see him, and I'm like, wave him down in my room, and I speak to him, and because I can see it in his eyes that he was about to go cross-eyed fucking crazy. He was gonna fucking do some stupid shit. Now he was married, and at the time he had 2 kids, and he had a $95,000 a year job at Chrysler as a designer. Okay, so he didn't even need to be there, He had a whole lot to lose, because if they had made these charges stick, old Twix would have been doing, I think 12 to 24 and have a felony on his record for the rest of his life, meaning he would have been probably out of a job, and his wife and kids would be homeless. That's reprehensible bullshit right there. So I tell him, I'm like, Twix, if you think a corporal has the power to have you arrested, do the perp walk, and taken to the nut house, you got another thing coming. And one of the main reasons why you're standing here mopping floors is because I talked to Chupacabra and I told him to tell the truth, because the first sergeant wanted him to write some bullshit that he didn't agree with and I didn't agree with. So I said, this is what you're going to do there, Twix. You're going to shut your fucking mouth. You're going to fucking do whatever they tell you to do, no matter how fucked it is. And you're going to write down every fucking fucked up thing that fucking has happened thus far since you've been deployed. And I want you to backdate it to the beginning. And when you get in the country, whatever unit we get attached to, you walk right up to the sergeant major, you give him that book and tell him you want to file an IG complaint. Because in my professional opinion, what has been happening to you is absolute fucking horseshit. Man, it was unbelievable. And I remember, after I told the first sergeant I was not going to go to the witch hunt fucking formation, him and the commander counseled me, for disobeying lawful orders. And I flat out looked them both in the face and I said, look, I'm not going to participate in witch hunts. I'm not doing this fucking bullshit politics you like to play. And if you try that shit with me, I'll push your fucking faces in. I'll make some phone calls and I'll turn both of your lives into a redneck fucking nightmare. And I left. I didn't sign shit. So there you go. So later on, we get into Iraq and Twix, asked me, pulled me aside and said, hey, what should I do? And I said, look, man, I'm not in charge of you. I gave you my advice. It's up to you if you want to do it or not, and just tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may. So Twix goes up and tells the sergeant major, and he's an active duty sergeant major. Granted, this particular sergeant major's name was Lewis, was a complete fucking idiot, stupid piece of shit. But it was an active duty sergeant major, and the Army as of late has been horrifically politically correct, and they go fucking berserk. The battalion commander gets involved. They're going to do a 15-6 investigation, and that's basically where the commanding officer assigns another officer who's a neutral party to interview everyone, take witness statements, and come up with what actually happened. That and then they actually contacted the MPs at Fort Bliss and intercepted some other emails. I mean, it was fucking ugly, man. It was fucking ugly. And I got kind of blamed for that, I guess, even though I had tried to intercede on behalf of Twix at least 24 times and tell the chain of command to quit fucking doing what they were doing. And they just didn't listen to me. So, hey, look, you want to fuck with a minority soldier in a fucked up way like that, first of all, you're treating any fucking soldier like that is fucked up, and you should get your fucking, dick kicked in. And the fact that he was a minority made it even worse. I found it completely reprehensible what was going on with the guy myself. So they take Twix out of the unit. They move him up to the battalion to run radio. So basically, all he has to do is do an 8-hour shift every day at the TOC, running the radios and moving messages around and moving shit around on a map. Which, granted, that would be a long year, but he was not required to go outside the wire or do any other of that crazy horse shit, because he had a lot to lose. I mean, he had a great job. His wife is, I've met her. She's very nice. Kids are beautiful. I mean, it would be just tragic if he was to get killed and all that other horse shit. So, he was up there for a couple months, and what happened to me after that was this. I got relieved in Bliss because I wouldn't falsify RTEPs. Then I was sergeant of the guard. Then after I was done with that, Charlie Brown decided I was going to be the NCOIC of kicking or starting a new PX inside Abu Ghraib prison. So I basically shut down my business, left my wife and my pregnant wife and kid, came to Iraq to do retail in a combat zone. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. So fine, I go talk to the battalion commander. Fine, I'll start your goddamn PX for you. How hard can it fucking be? They assigned me a driver, female E4. She weighed probably 120 pounds. And I looked the sergeant major in the face. I'm like, listen, I'm not accepting her as a driver. She's a chick and she's too fucking weak. She can't fucking pull me out of a burning vehicle. And he was upset that I said that. I just said, hey, that's the fucking truth, and I don't give a fuck what you do. Sergeant Major. course, if you start with Sergeant Major and with Sergeant Major, there's really not much you can do other than yell at you. So I told him, I said, listen, I'm going to pick my own driver. I'll have a name for you tomorrow. So that evening, I went and saw Twix up a battalion. And I said, hey, man, they got me earmarked to basically drive down fucking RPG Alley at 0 fucking dark 30 in the morning to get Gatorade and potato chips and occasionally pick up the mail. The driver they gave me, in my opinion, even though she was very nice, is completely ineffective, and I don't want to have her as a driver. I'm like, Twix, before I put your name forward, I want to ask you to your face, because you have a lot to lose, can you drive for me? Without missing a beat, he says, yeah, not a problem, Pop. I got you 6. That was it. And for the next, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks, which in Iraq is fucking forever, we rolled at 0530 from Abu Ghraib prison to Victory, which was about 9 miles away. There had been many, many attacks up and down that road. It wasn't uncommon to see burning vehicles, burning KBR trucks, and so forth. And a couple times when we were rolling out and the security would blow past us, and it was just our fucking vehicle alone on the fucking road, no gun trucks. And, I really got the feeling that I was being set up for the long box. What are you going to do? But hey, we made the best of it. I mean, we rolled out there. We ate eggs to order at the General Chow Hall where the generals all ate in the morning. We ate fucking lunch there. And, we hung out pretty much all day getting shit from the fucking the PX yard. It was, it was like a supply yard, but it was for AFIs. It was separate from the Army. And we worked out a lot of fucking drug deals, and we made a fucking lot of money for AFIs over that next month. It was a fucking good time. But anyway, that's, there you go. Twix made it through the deployment, came back, he ETS'd and went on with his life, and he's doing great things, and we made it through that fucking horse shit. All right, now I'm not even technically supposed to be talking about the Iraq deployment stories yet, but that one I think needed to be spoken about because it was very important. All righty, that's it for me, gentlemen. Take it easy.